There are many things dogs do that are really weird, and most people don't even know why. For example, the real reason dogs sometimes howl is actually super smart. Or that the reason dogs quote-unquote smile is actually super creepy. We will discuss all of these things in this video, but first, did you know that dogs have a built-in compass? You may be a bit confused by what this means, but let me explain. According to a study published in June of 2020, dogs have a built-in compass that uses the Earth's magnetic field to find their way back home. This is often referred to as magnetoception, and it's a weird ability animals have that lets them follow a geomagnetic axis north and south to reach their destination. There have been many stories of lost dogs finding their way back home, oftentimes being miles and miles away. But if you thought that was weird, did you know that grumpy dogs can actually learn way more than friendly dogs? This is completely different from us humans. If we are grumpy, we will not learn. But the same thing cannot be said about dogs, since researchers found that dogs who had the trait of being irritable were better at learning and being close to their owner than those who were playful and overactive. This is because a more aggressive dog that asserts itself is more goal-driven and in turn learns quickly. This is cool to know, as I have a more grouchy pup myself, so now I know he is a fast learner. While this cool fact was pretty straightforward, it can be a bit confusing why dogs do this next weird thing. Sniffing. Okay, maybe a dog sniffing isn't weird, but there is a warning sign as to why dogs do this you may not know about. Let's say you and your dog are out and about, walking outside with your pup, and they start sniffing the grass. This is completely fine and nothing to worry about. However, if you see your dog randomly start sniffing the ground in a distracted manner, it tends to mean they are in an uncomfortable situation. Make sure to keep an eye on this, because no one wants to see a worried dog. More interesting, however, is that dogs actually understand tone before words, meaning they can tell more from how you say things than what you actually say. For example, if you tell your dog to stop chewing on one of your shoes, they will better understand your annoyed tone rather than the actual words that you say. You can use this to your advantage. If you speak to your dog in a higher-pitched, cheerful tone, you can make them happier. This is also important when giving your dog commands, as giving them a more affirmative tone is important. Yet, while this fact is typically harmless to dogs, this next thing you might be giving your pup can be lethal. But before we get into that, we would appreciate it if you subscribed, if you want more educational dog videos like these. Anyways, without beating around the bush, this next thing you might be doing can be seriously harming your pup, as giving your dog grain-free dog food can lead to heart disease. No, this is not your average grandma's Facebook conspiracy theory. It's been scientifically proven by a study published by Tufts University that certain dog food ingredients can lead to a higher chance of heart disease. Guess what the ingredients were? Peas, potatoes, and sweet potatoes, which are all very common in grain-free dog food. This doesn't mean that all grain-free dog food is bad, but you need to be very careful about these ingredients because they can cause your dog more harm than good. But one of the weirdest behaviors dogs do is scoot their butts. It's actually quite funny, in fact. Dogs have 2 anal glands in their butt, and these sometimes get sore. Since dogs can't scratch their own butts, they will scoot around the floor and relieve this soreness. This is why your dog really likes when you scratch their butts, just like belly rubs. However, this can also be a warning sign. If your dog is scooting too much, it can be because of stress or allergies. Even worse, parasites, in which you need to visit a vet as soon as possible. But on the topic of butts, have you ever wondered why dogs like to sniff butts? This is a very odd dog behavior. But once you realize why they do this, it will make sense. Basically, they sniff other dogs' butts as a way to find out if they are compatible. From just a simple whiff of a dog's butt, they can learn things like age, diet, marital status, gender, and even health. And there is also a simple reason that dogs just like smelling things. However, if it becomes too much, it's best to give them a toy as a distraction. I actually have some fun dog toys I use with my dog in the description, so I really recommend checking them out. But enough with all the butt talk. Let's go over this next dog behavior that can be a warning sign that something is wrong. Dogs shaking their head. If you see your dog doing this every once in a while, it's okay and there is no need to worry. But normally when this happens, it tends to happen excessively, and this can be a huge problem. First of all, they can have an ear infection or overgrown yeast in their ears. Also, an ear irritation or infection can cause this behavior. So if you see your dog doing this often, just make sure to check with your vet. But while most of the time dogs do this, it is a warning sign. This next weird dog behavior has a ton of different meanings. Tilting their heads. One of the heartwarming reasons they do this is to show love and interest in you. When you speak to them, they tilt their head to mimic you and show affection. You can also see your dog tilt its head when it hears a new sound or a loud noise. What's kind of funny is that some dogs prefer to tilt it to the right while others prefer to the left. When I tried to find out what my dog would do, he didn't even budge. I think my dog had enough shenanigans for the day. Nevertheless, while this behavior is super weird and can mean different things, the next thing dogs do is absolutely genius. Howling. The main reason they do this is as a way to announce their presence and express their emotions. This is an instinct they have from back when they were wolves. However, now it is used as a way to let people know where they are. This is very smart because if your dog gets lost and you are nearby, they will howl after you to alert you of their direction. Nevertheless, if your dog is randomly doing this for no apparent reason, this can actually be a warning sign. They will sometimes howl because of anxiety, or even worse, medical issues. So while normally howling is pretty genius, there are times in which it can be signs of suffering. Hope you enjoyed this video. You can watch this next video about 10 things dogs hate that you should avoid. See you there!